Do you ever feel like manifestation is just another thing on your to-do list that you don't have time for? Like your spiritual practice is something that you have to do? Honestly, you're not alone because I felt that way too. Something that's really changed my relationship with manifestation is blending it into my lifestyle so that no matter what I'm doing, I'm also manifesting. I call this manifestation as a lifestyle, and it's single handedly made the entire manifestation journey more enjoyable for me. And I've seen my desires show up with a lot more ease. Manifesting as a lifestyle has made manifestation go from feeling like a task to something I just naturally do because it's who I am. If you'd like to learn more about this, I've created a step by step guide for you. I'll link it in my show notes so you can check it out. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict podcast with Pyle Corley. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and now it's time to get started. Hi, love. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my app, Affirm It. It's an app I've created to help you practice affirmations, manifestation, and spirituality. It has thousands of daily affirmations that you can affirm and swipe through, including exclusively curated collections for just what you're going through, from anxiety to confidence, to career growth to love, and so much more. You're going to have unlimited access to our library of meditations, visualizations, and our signature guided affirmations when you join. Affirm It is a place you can come to work on your self-improvement through our guides, practices, and journaling. Start your free 7-day trial by heading to the show notes and clicking the link, or go to your phone's app store and search for Affirm It. The subscription is just $4.49 a month, or $44 for the entire year. We can't wait to see you in the app. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Affirmation Addict podcast. My name is Pyle, and let's talk having fun on your manifestation journey. One of the things I feel like we've all heard is the power of joy, the power of having fun, and what that really feels like. And this episode is actually inspired by a trip I took with my friends. It was one of my best friends' bachelorette parties. And I had the time of my life. And I was like, wow, I feel so good. Why and how can I create this more? How can I create this in areas of my life that don't feel as fun? And just poking holes, right? Poking holes in, when I am meditating, am I having as much fun I'm having? Can I have more fun? Is that possible? Does that exist? When I'm writing my affirmations, can I have so much fun? Or when I'm cooking or doing laundry, just infusing more fun and how fun can help you in your journey, and in your life. I was so inspired because I'm not sure why, but I feel like the amount of fun I had on that trip was so high because I wasn't drinking. And it was the first time I took that big of a trip with all my girlfriends, in such a long time, where I was fully sober. I stopped drinking a few years ago. I think 4 years ago now, I stopped drinking, but it was we don't go out that much. We don't party or go dancing as much. So this was my first time in that type of setting, in full on for 3, 4, 5 days at a time. And I was actually nervous because you guys know, I'm very energy sensitive. I talk about this on my Instagram. I talk about this on my podcast, is my energy is super sensitive with people, with being in big groups. And there was a part of me for a long time that I was nervous because I was whoa, am I just going to be overly sensitive and not have a good time? But I was well, everything I know, that is a choice ultimately. So how can I make this actually so fun? And what I did all my energy protection stuff. I took a little crystal with me. It was safety pinned into my shirt, so I had it with me all the time. And I had such a good time, and I realized my energy sensitivity was also me allowing my energy to be sensitive. It was me allowing myself to be so heavily impacted, because I've seen this a lot when there's this conversation on people who drink versus don't drink. I do not believe one is better than the other. I believe you can drink and be perfectly amazing. I believe you cannot drink a drop of alcohol and be amazing. I believe you can dabble in it and be just as amazing. So to me, whether or not someone is drinking or not makes no difference. And this all is going to relate, by the way, to what I'm talking about. And it's like, this sounds like just a why I don't drink podcast, but it's not. It's like, it doesn't matter if someone is drinking versus not. I get to choose how I feel about how they're treating me. I get to choose how I feel about how I perceive them. And I seriously met so many amazing people. I had so much fun whether they were drunk, whether they were not drunk, whether they didn't realize I was married, whether they knew I was married. Like, it was so fun because I was so okay with showing up as my authentic self. I was like, hey, this is me. I'm a married woman who loves to dance, who loves to go out, who loves to just be there. And I'm happy to have fun. Like, I'm happy to be here. I can have a wholesome conversation with a person of the opposite gender. And it doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to be flirty. We can talk about our husband, and if they are trying to date someone, I can talk about that with them, and it doesn't have to mean anything. Because I feel like in our daily lives, so much of like the drama and the chaos and like all of that comes from all of these little labels, right? Like, do you party? Do you not? Are you single? Are you in a relationship? Are you married, or are you boyfriend and girlfriend? Are you working a 6-figure job, or are you working a not 6-figure job? Are you living in a big city, or are you living in country life? Like, all of these different labels, I feel like, is where our judgments come from and where we start to just put things in boxes. Our brain literally moves so fast that if I see like a red Lamborghini, I will automatically assume that that person is rich, probably works X amount of job, and all of my perceptions and beliefs and the boxes I believe are going to show up. Those are the things that are going to start to show up in my mind just by seeing a red Lamborghini. That is the projection of my thoughts. On the other hand, if you see somebody, I don't know, walking in summer heat, right? Like in Arizona where we live, it's like 100 degrees in the summer. When you see someone walking, maybe you're like, oh, they must not have a car. They must not have a way to get transport. You assume that things might be hard. You assume that they're hating their life. And honestly, in reality, Tom, my husband, loves walking around in the heat. I can never do it with him. He literally loves walking when it's so hot outside because he loves the heat. And those assumptions that I would assume if I saw anybody else are wrong. And so it's like all of these assumptions, I think, limit the way we are comfortable showing up in situations. And all of these assumptions are the same assumptions we have on our manifestations. I'm finally tying it together. All of these assumptions are the assumptions we have on if I manifest my soulmate, if I manifest an extra $10,000 of monthly income, if I manifest a dream home, if I manifest no more anxiety, if I manifest loving myself. We have all of these assumptions that we assume are going to show up when we manifest. But in reality, these assumptions are just assumptions. We don't know for sure. I don't know that manifesting our dream home is going to pan out the way I want it to. So when it comes down to it, just poking holes in the argument of manifestation, why are we manifesting? We are all manifesting we think we're going to feel better. We're going to feel some sort of pleasure, some sort of joy, some sort of happiness. We think that experience, whether it's a physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental, we believe that will create some level of happiness, some level of dopamine in our bodies and in our minds. And that's what we're chasing. We're seeking that. But what I think is the biggest missing point is we are all putting in all of this work, right? We do our affirmations, we do our scripting, we do our journaling, we do our meditation. And if you think about it, be honest with yourself. Do you dread that a little bit? I know I used to dread it when I used to do those things for the sake of manifesting. I used to hate it. I was like, wow, I just want my manifestation here, because I was still acting from a place of a cause and effect. Okay. Now, kind of stepping back into this whole fun thing we were talking about, my pitch to you, my invitation to you is, what if the journey, the process of manifestation, from the moment you know what you want to the moment you receive it, and everything in between, right? So you know what you want. You're like, wow, I'm so excited. How do I get there? Oh, let me practice affirmations. Maybe I need to take inspired action. Oh, shoot, it looks like it's not coming. Wow, everything seems like it's going against me. Oh, that must be a little frustrating. Oh, wait, the universe gave me a sign. I'm excited again. Oh, my manifestation actually shows up. What if through every single part of that manifestation journey that we all endure on different levels, in different variations, with different fluctuations, what if that was so fun for us? What if that was as fun as going on a trip with your friends or going on a travel vacation? What if that was so fun? You know what I think would happen if we could actually have fun truly throughout the entire journey? I believe our manifestations would have so much like attraction towards us, because our energy is so good. Our energy is so like magnetic at that point, that our manifestations would be like, whoa, I want to be there. Because if you think about it, your manifestation, my manifestation, all of it's just energy. Energy wants to go to similar energy. Your perception, your assumption, the box that you think your manifestation lives in is good energy. It's happy. It's feeling better than you are. So getting to where you want to be is, how can you feel better now? And I think we all hear that all the time. We all know, act as if, feel better now, your manifestation will come. But to me, the example of like having and like enjoying myself so much on that trip, I don't know what it was, but I felt like so authentically myself and I was having fun. That was, I think, the missing piece, because I think we hear act as if, feel better, and your manifestation will come. Because the contradiction is, when we act as if with the intention to act as if, then you're still doing your manifestation practice from a cause and effect. It's not authentic. It is still force. It is still with this behind the scenes intention that your manifestation will show up. Do you see what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of us are missing that key component, is we need to find our own way of having fun. It's going to be different for all of you. And for me, it really is having fun throughout the journey. What it looks like is like making my spiritual practice include things that are fun for me. I love skincare. My spiritual practice includes skincare every single day because that is fun for me. So I weave it into that. Another thing that's fun for me is dancing. So my spiritual practice involves singing my heart out, and I just tell myself that I'm opening up my heart, my throat chakra. I have a horrible voice. I cannot sing for the life of me, but I just make that part of my practice. We're playing my favorite music and singing it with the intention that I'm opening my throat chakra is part of my practice. Like, get creative with your practice. Have fun with it. Do the things that make you feel joy. If you love cooking, if you love eating, make that part of your practice. Tell yourself that before every single bite you take, that every single food that you're eating is creating the energy of love within your body. Or when you're cooking, as you're stirring your veggies or as you're stirring your soup or whatever you're making, that with every time you stir, more love is going into your food and more love is being surrounded by you. Like, you can get creative with manifestation. And this is what I mean by manifestation as a lifestyle. This is an embodiment tip where you get to pick how you practice your affirmations. Yes, you can write them. Maybe you're writing them blasting your favorite song. You don't have to write them and listen to sound healing. You can be your authentic version of yourself. So don't feel like your manifestation practice and your spirituality has to fit into that spiritual box. You don't have to use crystals. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to wear white. Like, don't put yourself in the box. Be you in your manifestation process and be that authentic version of yourself. And I think that's what's going to be how you actually create fun. I know this was kind of a stretch as to how I came to this conclusion and made it all relevant, but I really want to share with you that, like, me going on a trip that I assumed I was not going to like it because I assumed, oh, I'm going to be around drunk people, this and that. And me giving myself permission to be like, wait, I'm still allowed to have fun. Like, they can do what they want. They don't have to affect me and I don't have to affect them. Like, we can still coexist and have a blast. And we really did. And I was like, wow, that was me for the first time in a really long time, showing up as my authentic self in a situation where I would flex, I would adjust, or when I used to drink, I knew I wasn't drinking for me. And so when I was able to show up as my authentic self and I danced my heart out because I could care less if people were watching me, that was pure joy and pure fun. And in those moments, I was like, whoa, I feel good. And everybody deserves to feel this good. Maybe it's not dancing sober at a club in the middle of Texas. Maybe for you, that is cooking your favorite meal or eating at a really cool restaurant or driving to a super scenic viewpoint near you or going to the lake. Whatever it is for you, you're allowed to use authentic expressions of things that make you happy, and that's allowed to be part of your journey, and that's allowed to be what manifestation is like for you all the time. Because a lot of the people, when you start your manifestation journey, you know that you have to write affirmations, you know this, and you do these things with the intention of getting your result, and then your result doesn't show up, and then you're like, why is this happening? And then frustration comes. I want to help you avoid that frustration. And these are some really tangible ways for you to not look at it as frustration, not look at it as, oh, my manifestation isn't here yet, not look at it as lack, but looking at it as, how can I have fun with this? How can I be playful with this? How can I show up as my authentic self in this situation that should and typically does frustrate me? What's a different way to show up? Typically, I used to go to bars and be like, all these people are, and I would be very judgmental, and I don't like that. And so I used to be so judgmental, and maybe this is you too, or be like, all these people are drinking and they are drinking because they have to have fun and they need alcohol. That is such an assumption, and that is so not fair of me, which is why I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to be the one that changes. Nobody else needs to change. I need to be the one that changes. So for you, if your manifestation isn't showing up, don't make the assumption that you're failing or you're not doing right or you have to try harder. Maybe be like, how can I have fun with this? How can I shift the way I see this and be playful in manifestation? Maybe me being so serious isn't working. Maybe I get to be playful and I can still manifest. Like, how freaking awesome would that be? I know this is such a stretch. I said that already, but I was very inspired by showing up as my authentic self, having fun, and bringing that same amount of fun into manifestation. I believe we can all have so much fun and get what we want and live our best lives and really embrace our higher selves. And I think that's what we're meant to do. And I think that's what we're here for. And so I hope this resonated with you. I hope it connected with you, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. I always get a ton of questions in my DMs from people asking how I can manifest X. The truth is, you can really manifest anything as long as it's for the greatest good. And if you're having trouble manifesting something right now, or you feel stuck on your journey, I have a really beautiful resource I've made for you. It's a free quiz. It's called the Manifestation Archetype Quiz. And it's something that I've created so you can find out your manifestation style to give you more clarity on your spiritual journey. After taking the quiz, you're going to receive the best resources for your specific archetype to help you attract your desires based on where you're at and what you want to create. So you can find a link to the quiz in the show notes, or just head to my website at www.affirmation-addict.com. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you could rate and review the podcast and share it on your social media so I know to keep creating episodes that are inspiring you to manifest. I'm so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and I'd love for you to join the community by following @AffirmationAddict on Instagram. To continue diving into spirituality and manifestation, head over to my website, affirmation-addict.com. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and so much healing energy.